This entire video is simply an effort for me to convince you to try charging your phone outside your room. If you already do that, click off. If you're one of those people who feel like, oh yeah, I just know what to do, I'll just do it, click off, just do it, okay? If you are someone who still like kind of knows that they should do it, which I imagine is a lot of people, but you still don't do it, that is what this video is for. I'm going to try and lay out some facts and some strong reasoning for why it actually has a pretty significant impact on your evening, your sleep, and then even your trajectory into the next day. And I know it feels like quite a big sacrifice. You're like, oh, I look forward to it at the end of the day, get into bed, you're all sleepy, and you're like, oh, this is so comfy and nice. I get it. It feels like a big sacrifice. And most people probably imagine that it's like, oh, it's such a small impact. But it actually does make a massive impact. So without further ado, I'm going to get into this video and explain all the impacts that it has. Firstly, the most obvious thing is you're going to be spending more time on your phone if you charge your phone in bed, because no matter what happens, us being humans and phones being phones, you're going to want to spend more time on your phone, and you're going to push your bedtime further and further back, spending time on your phone, delaying your bedtime, which for the majority of people who have to get up at a set time to get ready for work and go leave for work, that means less sleep, obvious. But not only does it detract from your bank of sleep that you allocate every day, your ability to get to sleep is decreased because of the blue light reducing the release of melatonin, the hormone that dictates circadian rhythm and your sleep and wake cycles. So that once you actually do get off your phone, it's harder to actually sleep. And another thing that I've experienced myself is sometimes I'll be on my phone in bed, or would used to be on my phone in bed, and it would leave me feeling so bored after I turn it off that I'm almost too bored to try and sleep. I'm kind of like quite awake, like I feel really physically tired in my body, but I'm quite awake from being on my phone. And now the absence of the stimulation from your phone is leaving me like, oh, I just feel bored, but oh, this is boring. I want to go back on my phone. You just go back on your phone and the problem gets even worse. The next thing is what most of you probably aren't aware of, how negatively it impacts you throughout the night. So obviously some people don't even put on sleep mode, crazy people. So notifications, yeah, your phone going light, notifications to wake you up, that's obvious. But let's imagine you actually put sleep mode on. And let's also imagine you even turn your brightness down and maybe even do like redshift. Even still, when you wake up in the night to go to the loo, you'll check your phone, and that light exposure into your eyes, even when you turn the brightness down, has a negative consequence on your hormones, like quite a significant one. It will crash your melatonin and actually impacts your ability to produce testosterone as a man or estrogen as a woman because of the relationship between light exposure in your eyes, hormones, and dopamine. So in the actual daytime, getting light exposure into your eyes is really great for you because it releases dopamine, and it's actually part of why we feel so good on sunny summer days. You get light into your eyes, it makes you release dopamine, you feel good throughout the day. However, if you are getting light exposure in your eye during the sleep cycle, like when you should be in your sleep stage, this actually suppresses that dopamine releasing response during the daytime. So it means that you're going to release less dopamine during the daytime and you'll feel obviously worse because dopamine makes you feel good. It also means your body produces less testosterone if you're a man and less estrogen if you're a woman during the sleep cycle. Well, which is obviously when most of your hormones are produced is when you're sleeping. So even if you had the exact same amount of sleep, but you got this white light exposure or, blue light or any light from your phone when you check your phone in the middle of the night, which you wouldn't do if your phone was charged outside your room, that has a really negative consequence on your hormones. And obviously these hormones like testosterone and estrogen are crucial for your health and your feelings of well-being throughout the day. So that is obviously something that no one really thinks about. Like just a bit of light in your eyes could have this negative consequence, and it really does. the brighter, the higher the energy, the light, aka the higher the frequency and the smaller the wavelength, the more detrimental this effect is. So if you have blue light, that is shorter wavelength, higher frequency, as opposed to red light, which is longer waves. And they've done studies where the bright light completely crashes the melatonin levels. And on this thing I'm going to bring up, the green light crashes the melatonin levels, but the red doesn't crash it as bad. So if you were to, for some other reason, you need to have your phone in your room, putting it on the minimum brightness and redshift does have a positive impact on that. But then what most people don't consider, this is like another huge thing, is looking on your phone first thing in the morning. It is so nice, even the first 20 minutes, half an hour of your day, you wake up, you get out of bed, you just get straight out of bed, you get your day going, you get that really great positive momentum going. You're not instantly exposed to sort of dopamine when you're, just coming out of sleep and you're, all sluggish in bed. You just go straight into it and you're given this just a little bit of escape from your phone for once. Like your phone is just constantly, I know for me at least, it's just constantly there. And I really enjoy the first half an hour of my day where I am free from my phone and I can just like think and be in peace. It's very peaceful. The first half an hour where I just like get up, shower, brush my teeth, skincare, all this other stuff, get dressed, get ready, then I go on my phone. It honestly completely sets my day up in a different trajectory. If I go on my phone, it's like, you just get sucked in. You know what your phone's like. It just sucks you in, and you just don't want to do anything. You just kind of like, oh, I can't be arsed now, and you get out of bed, and you're kind of like, throughout your day, you're battling against this high of your phone. And then the next activities, you feel like, oh, I need to listen to music while I brush my teeth. I need to listen to music while I get in the shower. You're like dealing with this up to down. Whereas if you have your phone outside your room and you don't go on it the first half an hour, it's just like wake up and you're just this steady, calm, peaceful trajectory of your day instead of like a straight away stimulation in your phone. And then you're like, oh, everything else is just more boring and more of a big task. So some people probably gonna be like, oh, I need my phone as my alarm clock. You don't. You can buy one for super cheap, probably less than 20 quid, 15 quid on Amazon. And the return on investment on that is huge if you are productive with your life and you care about your sleep and your health and your well-being. So it's nothing in the grand scheme of things, absolutely nothing. What I prefer, and I think it's even better, is I have a alarm clock that wakes me up with light so it doesn't stress you and release cortisol, which is it's a stress hormone, which has another negative impact, and that is your hormones are produced, the raw ingredient is cholesterol, and if you're stressed, that cholesterol will be converted into cortisol instead of testosterone or estrogen or other sex steroid hormones. So if you're stressed, you'll literally produce less testosterone or these hormones that you want because you're preferentially converting that cholesterol into cortisol instead. And it's just so much nicer to wake up to light. So my thing slowly gets brighter for half an hour. So I'm like waking up gently, and sometimes I'll wake up a little bit before my alarm actually goes off when it's just slightly getting brighter, and then I'm just like, it's not like a sudden jolt awake, and it's just like a much more peaceful way to start your day. And then once it gets to like the actual time that I set alarm, then it'll like make bird noises, which even still become grating over time. Whatever you set your alarm to will always be your pain noise. It will always be the noise of, taking you out of a restful state. So despite how nice bird noises are, it still becomes annoying. However, it's just a way better way to wake up, and I couldn't recommend it more. So put in the comments below if you're trying it or you do it already. And yeah, let me know. If you enjoyed watching this video, check out this other video I made. If you want to see more, subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Peace.